Sunday, the day of rest, of peace, of family. But for some people, Sunday became the day everything changed. Welcome to Horror Diaries, where every story is real and every whisper is true. Relax, turn off the lights as we delve in. Before we start, please press the subscribe button and like this video. Also, where are you from? And what time are you watching? 7 true stories, 7 real people, 7 Sundays that turned into nightmares. These events were documented, investigated, and in some cases, never solved. Tonight, you're going to hear them, one by one. Story 1. The Silent Sunday Call. It happened on Sunday, April 17, 1988. In the small town of Corsicana, Texas, sunrise meant quiet streets and still air. At the edge of town stood a white wooden church, old enough that the floorboards remembered generations. Inside, every hymn book, every pew, every candle was arranged by one person, Norma Jean. The church people called her Miss Norma. The townspeople called her the church lady. Every Sunday she arrived before the sun. Her keys jingled against the locked doors. She would unlock the sanctuary, straighten every hymn book, and leave a small flower on the altar. She did this every week for 27 years. But on this Sunday morning, something was wrong. The congregation arrived at 9 a.m. The sanctuary was dark. The doors were locked. Norma was never late. Minutes passed, then an hour. Someone eventually walked to the back of the church expecting to find her car. Instead, they found a door slightly open, not wide, just enough to invite someone in. They stepped inside, calling her name. Rows of hymn books were scattered on the floor, not placed neatly like she always left them. At the front of the church, behind the altar, they saw her. Norma Jean was lying still. Her Bible was still clutched in her hands. She wasn't robbed, nothing was stolen. No signs of a struggle. Police searched the building. They searched for fingerprints, footprints, anything. But what they found was far worse, a phone record. At 3:27 a.m., a call was placed from the church building to Norma's home phone. The call lasted 14 seconds. Police believe the killer entered the church early Sunday morning, called Norma from inside the sanctuary, and she came. Because she trusted the church, because it was Sunday. Even today, the case remains unsolved. And sometimes, before service begins, members say they hear someone flipping pages of a hymn book, even when no one is sitting there. Story 2. The Sunday Drive That Never Ended. It was January 27, 1980, a warm Sunday in Belen, New Mexico. 19-year-old Tara Calico grabbed her bike and told her mother, "I'll be back by noon." She always rode the same route, a straight stretch of highway surrounded by emptiness and desert air. She was confident, fit, strong. She wasn't afraid of anything. Hours passed, no sign of Tara. Her mother began to worry. She drove the route Tara always took, and that's when she saw them. Pieces of Tara's cassette player broken on the road, as if she had dropped them intentionally. Like a trail, search teams scoured the highway. Volunteers walked miles of empty land. Helicopters flew overhead. Tara was gone. And then, 9 months later, another Sunday, on the opposite side of the country, a woman walked out of a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida, and noticed something strange in the parking lot. A Polaroid picture, face down. When she flipped it over, she screamed. 2 people were shown in the back of a van, a teenage girl and a young boy, bound gagged, eyes wide with terror. The girl looked exactly like Tara. Her scar matched. Her hair matched. The Polaroid was taken recently, less than a minute before it was dropped on the ground. Someone took their picture, drove past the store, and tossed the photo out of the window. Police tracked tire marks. They investigated. They searched counties, then states. Nothing. The girl in the photo was never found. Tara's disappearance began on a Sunday. Her only cry for help appeared on a Sunday, and the road where she vanished remains empty. Every Sunday morning, her mother places fresh flowers on the side of that highway, the place where Tara's bike disappeared. Story 3. The Sunday Exorcism. Not many people know that the real story behind The Exorcist took place on a Sunday, and that it didn't start with a girl. It started with a boy. His real name was never released publicly, only the initial, R. His case file calls him Robbie Mannheim. It began on a cold Sunday evening in January 1949 in Cottage City, Maryland. Robbie was 13, quiet, lonely. His closest companion was his Aunt Harriet, a spiritualist who owned a Ouija board. One Sunday, Robbie and his aunt attempted to use it, trying to contact spirits. They didn't take it seriously. A week later, Aunt Harriet died unexpectedly. And that's when things began. Scratching sounds in the walls, dragging noises in the attic, footsteps in Robbie's room. Every night, always on Sundays, the noises grew louder. At first, the parents blamed rats, until the scratches began carving words into Robbie's skin. Witness reports say the scratches would form sentences like "help," or worse, "Lewis." The family called a Lutheran pastor. He witnessed Robbie's mattress shake, with Robbie still on it. He said, "This boy needs a Catholic exorcism." The church approved it. And on the first Sunday of March 1949, the ritual began. They strapped Robbie to a hospital bed. The priest opened his Bible. As soon as he began the prayer, Robbie broke free from the straps. He grabbed a bed spring and slashed the priest's arm, carving the word "hell" into his own chest. Doctors witnessed it, priests recorded it. It continued for 30 days. Every Sunday, Robbie would wake up at midnight and scream the same sentence, "He won't leave." His voice was not his own. It was deeper, older. One night, Robbie suddenly sat up, eyes rolled back, and shouted, "I am the devil." Then he collapsed. After hours of prayer, Robbie's body convulsed violently. And then, silence. He opened his eyes, and in a weak, exhausted voice he whispered, "He's gone." Robbie walked away from the hospital that same week. He never spoke of it again. The priest never performed another exorcism. And every Sunday afterward, the hospital staff swore they could hear scratching coming from the room where Robbie was strapped down. Story 4. The Wrong Airbnb. This story happened in 2022. It was documented by police and reported by the guests themselves. Two best friends, Leah and Jasmine, took a weekend trip to celebrate finishing university. They booked a beautiful remote Airbnb cabin. Wooden walls, floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking a quiet lake. They arrived on a Sunday afternoon. The host messaged them, "No one else is checked in for the weekend, enjoy the privacy." Hours later, after they had unpacked, cooked, laughed, and settled upstairs, Leah noticed something strange. Her phone kept disconnecting from the Wi-Fi. She walked downstairs. The Wi-Fi router was unplugged. She looked at Jasmine, confused. Neither of them had touched it. They plugged it back in. Later that night, they watched a movie and dozed off on the couch. At 2:18 a.m., Jasmine woke up to the sound of footsteps upstairs. She nudged Leah. "Do you hear that?" Leah rubbed her eyes. They listened. Slow, heavy footsteps walking across the upstairs hallway. Jasmine whispered, "Someone's here." Leah grabbed her phone and dialed the Airbnb host. He answered, groggy. "What's wrong?" Jasmine whispered, "Someone is inside the house." A pause. Then the host said something that made Leah's blood run cold. "That's impossible. I changed the locks on Friday. You're the only guests." The footsteps continued, slow. Deliberate. Leah held her breath. Then a door slammed upstairs. They grabbed their bags, ran outside, got into their car, and drove to the nearest gas station. They called the police. When officers searched the cabin, they found something terrifying. A makeshift bed in the upstairs closet, food wrappers, empty cans, a charging cable plugged into the outlet. Someone had been living in the Airbnb, hiding in the house before they checked in. The officers also found something else. A phone leaning against a pair of shoes positioned to record the couch. The couch where Leah and Jasmine had fallen asleep. Police reviewed the footage. In the recording, you can see the girls sleeping, and a man quietly crawling down the stairs wearing a mask. The Airbnb host told police, "No one has access to the key but me," which means the man had been inside before the locks changed. He was never found. The listing is still active. And the reviews always mention one thing: beautiful view. Terrible energy. We felt watched the entire time. If you're still watching, that means you feel it too. The curiosity, the darkness. Let's go deeper. Story 5. The Hudson River Mirror. The family that vanished on a Sunday, August 7th, 2016. The weather was clear over the Hudson River in New York. Calm waters, perfect skies. A family of 4, Michael, his wife Annette, and their 2 children, decided to take their small motorboat out for a simple Sunday cruise. They took snacks, sunscreen, life jackets, and a phone to take pictures. At 2:30 p.m., Michael texted his brother, "Water is like glass. It's perfect." That was the last message he ever sent. Hours passed. No one heard from them. Their phones went silent. At sunset, when they still hadn't returned, relatives called the police. The Coast Guard launched a search that lasted all night. When dawn broke, they spotted the boat, still floating, but the family was not inside. All 4 life jackets were still lying on the seats. The picnic basket was untouched. Their cell phones were inside, placed neatly on the seats, as if no one had rushed. But the strangest thing was this. The engine was still running. The propeller spun slowly, moving the empty boat in a quiet circle. Like a clock hand sweeping around and around. Divers searched the river. Helicopters scanned the water surface. Nothing. Later that evening, they found the mother's body, miles away downstream. Her face was calm, no bruises, no sign of a struggle. The remaining 3, the father and 2 children, and were never found. Investigators were baffled. The boat had no damage. Weather was perfect. No reason to jump in. All life jackets were unused. Theories ranged from a sudden wake wave knocking them overboard to something darker. A river worker later told journalists, "That day in the water was too still. I've worked this river 30 years. I don't trust it when it's that calm." The case remains officially unsolved. Some nights, boaters report seeing a small motorboat drifting in slow circles on the water. Engine humming, lights off, no passengers. When rescue teams respond, the boat disappears into the fog. People say the river keeps what it takes, especially on Sundays. Story 6. The Church Shooting, Sutherland Springs, November 5, 2017. A quiet Sunday morning in Sutherland Springs, Texas. The bell rang at the First Baptist Church. Families walked in, children colored in Bible activity books. The choir began to sing. It was supposed to be just another peaceful Sunday. 10 minutes into the service and the front doors opened. A man dressed in black tactical gear stepped inside and raised a rifle. He didn't shout, he didn't say a word. He just opened fire. People ducked behind pews, covered their children, prayed for it to stop. The youngest victim was 18 months old. The oldest was 77. 26 people were killed. All because they went to church on Sunday. The shooter fled. A neighbor grabbed his own rifle and chased him down the road. When police finally caught up, the shooter had crashed his vehicle and ended himself. Investigators found a chilling clue. He had drawn a map of the church layout and marked where families usually sat. He planned it, he studied them. He waited for Sunday. One survivor later said, "The gunfire stopped and there was just breathing. The sound of people breathing in fear." Every year on that same Sunday at 11:20 a.m., the church rings a bell, 26 times. Not for ceremony, for remembrance. Story 7, Room 348, The Wall That Killed. In 2010, on a quiet Sunday night, at the Eleganta Hotel in Beaumont, Texas, a businessman named Gregory Flanagan checked into room 348. Greg was the definition of routine. Never partied, never drank heavily, never caused trouble. He ordered room service, watched a movie, and went to sleep. At least, that's what everyone thought. The next morning, Greg missed a scheduled meeting. Coworkers knocked on his door. No answer. Hotel security entered the room. Greg was lying on the carpet near the foot of the bed. Face down, no blood, no signs of a struggle. His wallet, his keys, everything was untouched. The medical examiner ruled it a heart attack. Case closed. But Greg's wife refused to believe it. She hired a private investigator, Ken Brennan, a former DEA agent. And that's when the real nightmare began. The investigation. The private investigator returned to room 348 on a Sunday. The room felt wrong. He noticed strange details. The room was freezing cold. The carpet had a faint scorch-like mark. The wall behind the bed had a tiny round indentation. So small, you'd miss it unless you were looking. He checked the autopsy report. During the examination, the medical examiner found something unusual. Small beads of metal inside Greg's body. Not from surgery, not from implants. From heat, metal that had melted. But how? The private investigator looked at the indentation in the wall again. And then it clicked. He turned to the hotel manager and said, "Someone shot through that wall." The room next door. Room 349 was occupied that weekend by 3 oil workers who were in town for a job. They drank, partied, and wrestled like idiots. One of them had brought a gun. Drunken and careless, they thought it would be hilarious to fire it into the wall, not realizing the bullet would pass directly into Greg's room, striking him in the chest. The bullet passed through the wall, the back of the TV, the wiring inside the carpet, then into Greg. The electric spark from the outlet heated the bullet, melting it inside of him. That's why there was no exit wound. No blood. Greg collapsed instantly. No sign of struggle, just silence. The men in the next room never knew someone had died. While they drank beers and Greg lay on the floor dying alone, the private investigator confronted the men. One started crying. The case was closed. But what terrified the hotel staff was this. Guests who stayed afterward in room 348 complained of the TV turning on at 3:00 a.m., the heater switching to freezing cold, soft footsteps near the bed. One woman checked out at midnight and left a review. It felt like someone was sitting beside me all night. Breathing. Room 348 is still in use. They never renovated it. If you ever stay there, check the wall behind the bed. You might see the small dent, the last mark left by a stray bullet, and a man who never knew his Sunday would be his last. Sunday, a day meant for rest, a day meant for peace. Horror does not choose a day. It does not wait for nightfall. And the worst things that happen aren't always imagined. Sometimes they are real. A woman lured to her death by a silent call. A girl taken during a Sunday bike ride. A boy possessed during a Sunday exorcism. 2 women filmed by someone hiding in their Airbnb. The family that vanished, the church shooting of Sutherland Spring, and a man killed by a bullet that came from the room next door. 7 Sundays, 7 true nightmares, and somewhere, someone else is living their Sunday horror right now. You may never know when you're living your last normal day, but if you ever feel a cold shift in the air, a sound in the walls, or footsteps behind you on a Sunday, remember these stories. And don't assume it's nothing, because for someone, it wasn't. If you made it this far, you're one of the brave ones. Like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications because more true horror drops every night. Sleep, if you can.